This has been going on through my head for a little bit, and I wanted to talk about this. If I'm not mistaken, I actually did a video like this before, and I just want to go ahead and talk about it today because I was on Threads, and there's Elmo, you know, from Sesame Street. Elmo from Sesame Street created did a post, and the post was like Elmo can count to 20, and then proceeds to count to 20, and that was it. You read the comments, and it was just nobody cares, Elmo. Shut up. Count to 40, you loser. Thanks for taking count. Thanks for taking account out of a job. Just nothing but just bitter, angry, just harassment. And then not too long after that, I saw another post on Threads. It was this kid who was I think they were either in makeup or something. I don't know, but they were saying, I can't wait for Halloween, and the comments was just. Ew, a kid who can't wait till Halloween, kid. Your actual face is a Halloween costume. LOL. It's funny because I'm mean. And it's just like this is like okay. The reason why I'm special, and this isn't just Threads, it's social media in general. Now, I said earlier how social media is actually a benefit to society because of all the good that it entails. But like as I've said before, once again, I'm not acknowledging that. I'm not saying all of social media is bad because of these people, because I'm aware that there are good people on social media. I myself am actually trying to be one of them. But it is very frustrating to know that like there's people out here who are this way on a regular basis. Like when I was growing up, I was trained on the idea that the status quo of life was just being kind and being nice to people. So if you were being mean to people, you weren't necessarily being mean, you were just being different. You know what I mean? And because you're being different, there's nothing wrong with it. You're just quirky and different. But now it seems like everybody is just mean. Everybody is just hostile. Everybody is just cruel. It feels like the status quo has been to be a bully, and wanting to not be a bully is considered either duplicitous or childish. You know what I mean? It's like, well, if you want to be kind to people, then you're either doing it to take advantage of somebody, or you're either doing it to take advantage of someone, or you're just a big baby who thinks that everybody should be nice to each other. Which is, yeah, everybody should be nice to each other. I don't understand how that is a childish approach to anything. Y'all really want the world to just be nothing but people just picking on each other all the time? What kind of dystopian hellhole do you want to live in where everybody's just treating each other like garbage on a regular basis, but every so often showing just a little bit of kindness to just to give you a reason why you should put a kid on this planet? Like, just think about that. Like, imagine, like, that's so weird. That's a weird thing. It's just like it's almost like you're trying to say that like treating people poorly is some sort of social law, and wanting people to be treated without the poorly behavior is like something to enforce it against. You know what I'm saying? Like there's this weird enforcement of a social law of mistreating people. I don't get this approach to life in general. And it always makes me question things a little bit because of the fact that I don't like the idea of wanting kindness and wanting peace and wanting people to be respectful to each other. I don't like the idea that that's somehow correlating with being a child and being young, when all of the meanest people I know have the mentality of a high schooler, whereas like they can't take anything seriously because everything is funny, everything is a joke, everything is free game, except for white supremacists apparently. It's like you can make fun of a kid for looking a certain way, but you can't make fun of David Duke for looking the way that he looks. You can make fun of Elmo for counting the 20, but you can't make fun of Matt Gaetz for his chin and the RNC. You know what I mean? Let me see if I got this right. You can make fun of people because of how they look or because of your personal feelings about them, but you can't make fun of actual evil people for being actually evil for the most one-dimensional reasons ever. But you're the adult. These are the adults. Like that person looks stupid. See, he looks stupid. That makes it fun. That it's funny because I'm insulting a person because of how I think they look. Like, tell me how that's an adult thing. Tell me how that's a grown up thing. Tell me how that's a big person thing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. Like, but meanwhile, on the other side of that, that person is being an oppressive jerk, and I don't like it. Well, you just need to accept the fact that that's how life is. If you have a problem with it, you should do something about it. Addressing it is doing something about it. What is happening? Like, there's this belief that status quo is just undeniable, and I don't like that. As when I was growing up, I was taught about, like, first off, growing up black means you're being taught about every single protest and march and every single slave uprising and everything ever about how to challenge the status quo, that being black made you subhuman. That's what I was trained on as a child. I was watching movies like Amistad and Roots and More Roots and the Louis Farrakhan tapes, which I still didn't, like, to this day, I still don't understand the Louis Farrakhan tapes. But the fact of the matter is, I was always trained on this idea that if you were put into a situation where you were being mistreated, you fight like hell to make sure that you're not mistreated anymore. Because of the fact that you being mistreated is wrong. It's not, you don't shrug your shoulders and go, it is what it is. Let me go ahead and pick this cotton because, nothing's going to change anyway. That's not what I was trained on. And I don't think that was what any black kid in the South was trained on. So it's kind of weird to see people just be okay with, like, how crap is today. You know what I mean? So, like, I was always trained on this idea that challenging things that you find to be unsettling is just a way to go about things. Because I was always trained on the idea that if you want something to happen, it will happen if you work towards it. No matter how long it takes, no matter what you got to do, you buckle down and you make it happen. And for me, the thing that I want to happen is for there to just be a universal kindness, and I'm willing to do my part to actually make sure that happens, even if that just means being kind to people on a regular basis. Even if people don't trust me, I'm still going to be kind to them. Even if people don't like me, I'm still going to be kind to them. But I'm not going to be a doormat, though. There's a difference there. And that's another thing that people love to talk about. Well, being kind means that you just want people to walk all over you. That's not what that means. I like to think that being kind means that you can acknowledge if somebody's taking advantage of you and being respectful enough to just band away from them without being a jerk about it. If somebody was taking advantage of me, and I have been taken advantage of a few times, I know how to just be like, you know what? I'm being taken advantage of here. I appreciate whatever we had, but I can't handle this anymore. I'm going to go. Notice how I'm doing that with the most nicest. And I'm not saying, you're taking advantage of me, you suck, I'm gone. That's not what I'm doing. I'm being really animated about this because I'm very passionate about just being nice. Because I don't understand why being nice is seen as this universal bad thing to be. It's just weird that we approach, like, cruelty and misfortune and picking on people and marginalizing people and putting people in terrible situations and harming them and mocking them and all this other stuff. We do this all the time, and we treat it as this awesome thing that just should continue to be done because, well, that's just how life is. It is what it is. We should just make it. We should just do whatever we need to do to make things, like, that should be the thing because that's always been the thing. But, like, we can do that for everything else, but we can do that for this, but we can't do this for affordable housing or stuff being accessible or just treating people kindly or anything else. It's just, well, bad things are going to happen, so whatever. It's just wild. It's wild. And all, like I said, so I just want to know specifically, what's wrong with being nice? What is wrong with being nice? What's wrong with this idea that, like, you could actually treat somebody with kindness with absolutely nothing in return? You know what I mean? What's wrong with that? Like, I'm not, like, like, if I was, like, well, you're not trying to actually be nice because you talk bad about Republicans all the time. Yes, I do. Because of the fact that I have high standards for Republicans that they don't reach. And when they don't reach the standards that I put them on, then I that's me chastising them. I could say a lot worse about Republicans than I do, but I don't. I could say a lot worse about Trump supporters than I do, but I don't. I could treat people much worse than I can, but I don't. And the reason why is because That's me trying to be a nice person to people I don't want to be nice to. But that's what I'm saying though. It's weird that we live in a world where you can't like I'm forcing myself to be nice. I'm trying to be nice. Well, nobody else has to be nice. If people don't want to be nice, it's not up to you to tell them not to be nice. To which I say this: why don't you want to be nice? What are you getting out of being mean that you can't get from being nice? Fear, power, authority, money, this feeling of superiority that you got. What are you getting? What's the gain here? Because if you're getting that, then don't let me stop you. Don't let me stop you. I'm not telling you to. I'm not telling anybody to be nice. I'm just want to know what's wrong with being nice that is considered this terrible thing to even pursue in comparison to just being a bully all the time. People always, and the only response that I get so far is, well, it's mature. It's a grown up thing to do. Which, like, have you ever actually sat down and paid attention to a person who bullies people? Have you ever actually sat down and watched a bully before? Can you seriously sit here and tell me that you think that Donald Trump is a super adulty-ish adult? Can you seriously say that? Can you say that any Republican is a super adulty adult? But because instead of saying, well, I don't like these people, so they need to go away. You know what I'm saying? I don't want people to have nice things, so they should not have nice things. And they somehow managed to make that into a political platform. But people saying, I want people to be nice to each other is childish. My brain is just incapable of, I don't understand, like if I knew how to edit, there would just be flying math equations like everywhere right now. But the fact of the matter is, though, is that, like, it is kind of annoying to me that, like, we live in a world that prioritizes, like, just being a bully over everything else. And nobody can explain why that's a good thing. Nobody can explain why that's meaningful or why that's necessary. But instead, they'll just say, well, I don't have to be nice. Okay, but why don't you want to be nice? Well, I was taken advantage of a whole bunch of times when I was nice, so I don't want to be nice anymore. It toughened my spirit. It became my villain origin story, and now I am going to make sure that everybody else feels my pain. You're not helping anything. You're just spreading your own personal trauma. Like, we've all been through trauma. As a matter of fact, one of the few reasons why I want to be nice to people is because of the fact that I'm aware that we're all going through trauma, and I don't want to be responsible for somebody's trauma expanding. Because I used to be a jerky little. I used to be a terrible person when I was younger, and then I realized that people weren't NPCs. I realized that people were not. I realized that other people existed outside of my vision of them. It's not like they were just people that was in my vision that I could just mess with, and then when they're gone, they don't exist anymore. That wasn't the case here. I realized, oh snap, these are people that I'm doing this stuff to. Some of the stuff I might do, it might have some long-lasting effect, and I realized that I didn't want to be a long-lasting effect that was negative on somebody. If I'm going to be a long-lasting effect on somebody, or if I'm just going to be effective on anybody in any context, I'd rather be a good one than a bad one. That's what I want. At the end of the day, I want people to see me and go, that's a good guy right there. He's good. He at least is trying to be good. That's all I want. I want to be heard, and I want to be acknowledged positively. And I think it's kind of weird that, like, me saying that is bad too. Like, it's like, you're not supposed to acknowledge that. You're not supposed to say that. It's just supposed to happen. I say, oh my God, bro. All these stupid social rules, man. All these stupid shut up and let us berate you rules, man. Like, leave me alone. It's so wild, man. It's so wild. It's so weird. But yeah, though, like, well, I don't know about anybody else, but I am going to be a nice guy, because I want to be a nice guy. I'm going to bring back nice guy, because being a nice guy doesn't mean being nice anymore. I'm going to try to bring that back. I'm going to try to be a nice person to people. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to acknowledge me being nice, but just know that that's my goal in life. My goal is to be the nice guy. My goal is for people to look at me and go, he's cool. You know what I'm saying? I bet he's harmless. I'm going to make his life a living hell because he's nice to people. I want people to see that guy and think that something is wrong with that person, instead of something being wrong with me for being a nice person. You see what I'm saying? Because that's the world that we live in. We live in a world where there's people who want to hurt nice people just because. And nobody talks about that person. They're too busy talking about the nice people who should just toughen up and be a little bit more mean if they actually didn't want people to mess with them so much. Instead of victim blaming, maybe go after the person who's doing the attacking. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with this. Love and peace, y'all. I appreciate the engagement. But yeah, this might actually cause me to lose some subscribers, because how dare he tell people to be nice, even though I'm not telling anybody to do anything. Weird.